Hi. Yes, just wondering with the microphone, hopefully it is working. It's just the microphone that is. Just realised it's the microphone default for the computer. Let me just switch that to the producer. That's just happened. So hopefully that's switched through at the right space. I'm learning all the time in what I'm meant to be doing as I'm doing these live streams. I've been doing daily live streams for well over 8 years and I'm still learning. Have I got it down pat? No. Excuse me. Now, I'm just going to open my Scrivener because what I had done was Memoir test. I'm going to open the Scrivener. Last episode, episode 43, what I'd started taking you through was the Scrivener process. Use it, and Scrivener is a program that is really good for doing writing, pretty much. It's got a great background of what it does, background of the way to sort things into various acts, chapters, whatever you want, and especially when it's got characters, places. I'm going to get it on the share screen as soon as I can, and we'll do that here. It should bring that screen. Now I do have to pop into that, edit it, because it goes by default to the entire screen. And what I'm wanting is the Scrivener. Okay, now hopefully that's big enough. I don't think it is, so what I'm going to do is bring that. Thank you for your patience. Your call is important. All of that stuff. Here we go. So I'm going to bring it up right as far as I can, that I can fit me into the screen too, just slightly smaller. Right, let's just go to that. And if it looks like I'm in the wrong plough, that'll do. That will do. I might just go and bring that down a little bit from the top. Oh, doesn't like that, does it? But we'll just do it like that because I don't need all of it. As you can see with all of this over here where we are in the manuscript. So I have used this as a novel format, and you can see here that I've got it as a memoir test as far as the heading. Oh, whoops, that shifted it. Sorry about that. It's popped into being up the top, and I can shift that out the way. Yep, I do talk to myself. It's the way it's just the way that I do it, because a little bit. I haven't got anyone in the reading room with me. I'm probably going to call it the reading room here in the background, and we'll just keep onward with what I'm doing, because as I'm doing, I'm learning as well as you are by following it through with me, hopefully. Look, it's not a lesson or a course as such. I'm just wanting to get through starting and processing my own memoir, and the best and easiest way of doing that is devoting an hour on a Sunday night at least to some of that process. I've always got something else that I'm doing any other time, and I thought, well, it's easier for me to bring it forward as a regular Sunday night thing. So look, we'll see how that works. You can certainly give me some feedback, whether it's something you want to sit through watching or not. I'll be uploading these to my YouTube channel, the Boomer Press YouTube channel, as part of that process. I can't as yet, and this is something that I'm wanting to do. Oh, that doesn't do that. Okay, let me switch that back around. I'm learning things. See, I'm using Ecamm in a different way. I can't as yet live stream direct to my Boomer Press YouTube channel because I haven't got enough followers. So it would be lovely if you think this is something that some of your friends would enjoy watching, even if it's just later. It would be great to be able to at least reach that, I think it's 100 minimum, before I can go direct live streaming into my YouTube channel. And that would add quite a lot of, impetus, I think, for me to keep on doing the Sunday night ones to a YouTube channel. Because I think with anything, as we're learning, there's many different, like there might be the same thing that's being shown and taught on YouTube by other people, but I'd have my own special style and way of doing it, and you might be attracted to that and want to learn along with me, or just watch what I present. I don't know, because you love me. We all have our different styles, and I think for me, I just like to get on and be me. You won't see any put-ons or whatnots because, I'm not into the whatnots. I just like being me, and I really enjoy having the technology. I enjoy using the technology, having the technology to be able to share it with you. Just because it's different and it's connecting with people in a different way. How different these days? Well, so much of it has become a bit more same, and a little bit manufactured and a little bit AI'd, which I'm not against using the AI, the artificial intelligence, if you want to call it intelligence. It's manipulation of words. All that the artificial intelligence is doing is using massive computer space, having someone who's programmed the search engines, the search factor in the background, the coding that goes into it, and the massive computer power that it's taking. Yeah, sure, there could be unenvironmental, not very environmental factors about the number of computers being set up in computer farms now, server farms I think they call them, to be able to use the AI. It's manipulation of the noughts and ones in computing that takes massive computer power, that takes massive amount of electricity and, infrastructure to do this, that makes it so much easier and faster for us to actually create what we want to create in words, in pictures, in whatever, construct that is being helped along with it in the background. I mean, it can even code and do things like creating websites for us. All of that type of stuff just by us being taught and learning prompting. I'm not going to do that part of it with you, that part, unless I find it's something that I'm going to use as I move along in the process of doing my memoirs. Sometimes it helps to do a little bit of research using, Google search engine is how we've been doing it for years. The AI just takes it a step further and everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. Well, I'm no different. The tools are going to stay, so I'm learning the tools. And if you're going to learn something from that as you're moving along as well, that's a bonus. So we're going to hop across again to the Scrivener. It is only but one platform that we use as that process now. And I'm probably just going to call this Boomer Press, it is Boomer Press Book Nook episodes. And, it's a reading room, it's a writing room, it's a whatever we decide it's going to be room. So I'm just going to refresh the screen in the Boomer Press community, just in case there's someone who has requested to join. That's the one part of this, that it does take a bit of time in the background with community building to monitor and make sure that things are honky-dory and up to scratch while I'm doing the live stream, okay? Now, this live stream is going live into my Soul Software video platform. So this is how I will be doing these, because it gives the opportunity to edit and process before it goes up on YouTube at the moment. Once I've got that minimum for the YouTube live streaming, then it will be streamed live as it happens. Okay, without editing. Okay, here we go back to the share screen. Now, and just to I do want to explain, this is a life wave patch, just in case. It's not an injury or anything. I am wearing some special patches. Okay. Now, what I'm up to, and I've got to find my Scrivener program here on the screen, that what I'm sharing with you. Now, I think I did take you through with how I'd started this, was choosing a novel format for it. As you can see, we've got what is a template initially, so that I chose the one that was going to be in parts. So as you can see about the template, so by default, I am just going to read this bit. Now it does have Pro Writing Aid turned on, so I'm going to turn that off. I think I can do that here. Oh, it's got an update available. Oh, disabling this app for 1 hour. Right, there. So that's not going to show up all those little lines. Did we see them on the recording? We probably did. And that's another one of those floating artificial intelligence helper type of things. Pro Writing Aid is another of the programs that I can actually go into directly and use that fully as an app in itself, a program in itself, to analyse manuscript if I want it to, that type of stuff. And I probably will be taking this material into it, or leave it as whatever we've got once I, as far as using that little floating one. Anyway, we'll get to that when we get to that. So here I am in the novel format. Now, I'd skipped through all of this last week from memory. I haven't actually watched the replay. So I'm just going to read through this now. So the novel format, it's a template format that we can use. It could have been blank, but this is how simple it can be for what we're doing with our writing. And, with this one, we're doing a memoir. So, the basics, a first draft. So by default, when compiled, the file to compile, this project will generate a document in the standard manuscript format for novels. So settings are also provided to make it easy to compile to a paperback style, PDF for publishing, or an EPUB or Kindle ebook. So it is geared to be published in the end once all of this is finished, to a standard that you want to actually use as the manuscript, like we've got over here. All of this that is under this patch, see where that goes up? Manuscript, that's part 1, 2 and 3. So this is what it will format from, is the manuscript itself. Everything else is just support material that's around the side of the manuscript, right? So the characters, places, front matter, all of that's just support. So it does actually help us along the way with a template to show us how to use this template. So inside the manuscript folder, you create a new folder for each part of your novel as direct subdocuments of the manuscript folder. Now, I don't think this is big enough writing, so I'm going to put it up to 150, and you should see that very easily. I can, with this sidebar, switch that on or off. Whoops, that's to that. That gives bookmarks. I think I went through some of that last week too. So I can turn that off. That is the inspector. Oh, I didn't realise it narrows down what we're looking at either. Okay, I'll put that across there. How far across does that go? About there. Right, I can keep that there. Right, what we've got hiding behind that is just the compose and inspector up the top. Okay, which is where I was able to flick that inspector part off, and here it goes back on again. Okay, you're only seeing part of that now, hopefully, but it resizes. Okay, fiddly diddlies. We're getting a bit of fiddly diddlies. Here we go. So here about the template, like how to use it. So this is what we've got here. Inside the manuscript folder, create a new folder for each part of your novel as direct sub-documents of the manuscript folder. And that is, as you can see, the part 1. That's how we've done it, how I've done it this time. Right, so 2 folders have already been created at this level for you with the placeholder title part. And you should rename them to the titles of the parts of your novel. So the manuscript folder is what we refer to in the documentation as the draft folder. It's just been renamed manuscript in this template. So the manuscript is a draft. It's a first draft. It's whatever you want to. You could even just name it first draft right at the start until you've got everything how you like it, and then once it's done, change it to being called manuscript. Okay, oh, I like that. Gives it a little thingy, text, document, article. There you go. Don't know what that is. I'll learn. We might learn it later. So you create a new folder for each chapter inside the relevant part folder, which is here we've got them as there's the 1 chapter, and we've actually got scenes in this. So that's what we've got there at that space. Okay. So here we are at this point inside the part folder, and title each folder with the name of the chapter. So if you don't intend to use chapter names, please use something descriptive that tells you what the chapter is about. You do not need to, and indeed shouldn't, title the folders chapter 1 and so on, because chapter numbering will be taken care of automatically during the compile process. So that's when everything is finished and done, and then you compile it, it does it automatically. So the first chapter folder has been created for you with the placeholder chapter. So here we are, chapter 1, and I have named it Earliest Memories. For my own understanding, I like to call them chapter 1. So that is what I'm going to be doing at this point. Okay? You don't have to. And here we are, create the new text document for each scene inside the chapter folders. So that with what we're doing, we're here, and that is these ones. So I created this one last week. I remember the day that I was playing at the end of the driveway. So this is titled Playing at the End of the Driveway as a scene in that chapter 1, those earliest memories. Okay, so can you get the drift of how this is being created as we move along? So upon export here, the scenes will be separated with a hash character. Oh, bloody hell. Sorry, I shouldn't have sworn, should I? I have got my phone going and I'm ignoring it. Okay, it's a call that I sent a text to the relevant person not to call me while I was doing a live stream. But that's okay. We'll leave it there. Create, where are we up to? Upon export, scenes will be separated with the hashtag character for standard manuscript format or with a blank line for other formats. Now I'm just wanting to check that. So create the new text document. We've done that. That's this, right? And then we're going to, here we go. When it gets to that export, the scenes will be separated with the hashtag character. So that's an export factor. We don't have to do anything about that, but it probably does a blank line for other formats. So it just depends whether you're doing a standard manuscript format or others. Right, so then we go, information about characters can be placed in the characters folder. Now that here we've got, and I'm using the template, remember, using and information about locations can be placed in the places folder, and these are just regular folders that have custom icons assigned to them using documents, and you can change the icons. So Here we are with this lot, and these are down here on the left. See where that drops down and it shifts to being the characters. And here I've got the rough information about my family. So I'm going to move back to that because really I don't have to share all of that there. It is a memoir test. I mean, you could look up who my family are and find out further information. Probably. I don't know how much some of them are on. Actually, I don't think some of them are on internet. I know my mum and dad are, and they've passed on. I don't know how often my brother and, well, actually any of the siblings, really, they're not so much into full-on internet stuff from my own awareness, and that's okay. I'm the one that's been on computers since 1982. I think I'm the one that gets asked questions when they need to know something about computing and doing this type of thing. Anyway, there we go. So we're up to there. We know where the characters and the places is. So here we've got the places, and I have nothing in this. So from here, if I wanted to, I would need to add, and that could be a new folder under it, or new text, character, settings sketch, import a web page. Now I'm just going to do a new text. So that would be here, and for the first start I would probably put Minleton because that's where I was born. And it's highly likely I might even add another text that is, oh, why did that put setting sketch? I don't want that. So here we go. We just trash it like that. Take it off there. Places, I want to add a new text. So I would do this one as Meningi and that type of thing. In fact, I'm going to also put Canalpin as one of them because that was a fairly big influence in my early days. I learnt to swim there. Now, if I wanted to, I could change these around because really the bigger influence that I had over time, it's, yes, born at Meningi, and then we shifted to Canal. It was more Canalpin as the location that we shifted to, where the farm is. It's closer to Canalpin than Meningi, and those earlier years right at the start were a little bit more at Canalpin because there was business Dad did there more so, because the railway was still going through and there was a general store that was there fully functioning for groceries and that. But we were going to Meningi area school, so that's why with the places I'd place them in that order. Okay, so there we have it with the characters folder and the places. You can see how easy it is to actually change things around here, as well as add the text folders and that type of thing. So here we have character and setting sketch sheets have been provided, which can be used for filling out information about the people and places in your novel. Now, I don't think I had been fully aware of that, so let's just have a look at that. The characters sheets, I probably have used that. Now, I could possibly add some more, so I would add a character sketch. And that would be, now this could be how I filled in each of these ones. Okay, yeah, well I probably have or haven't. I don't know actually, did I? Yeah, I think I have. It's in the format of those things. Yeah, I have in that respect. Okay. So there we go. There's those types of templates that are used. So they're located in the template sheets. Okay, they're in the folder. So here we'll have a look at the folder for templates. And there we've got the character and template sheets, but it can also be used from the top up here. See how the choices are there as well. So there's many different ways to get into the same things as we're moving along, you know, as you want to use different parts of the Scrivener to add things in. And it does tell us don't edit the documents that are in the template sheets folder directly unless I do wish to change the templates, which we can do. It says we're free to do. You may wish to customize the sketch sheets or get rid of them entirely. You can create your own template at any time. And here it's suggesting create a new character sheet. Click on the characters folder or wherever you want to create your new character sheet. And from the project menu, I'm just wanting to find where the project menu is. So it's telling us to click on the characters folder there. Well, hang on. I've lost my instructions. And from the project menu, now this is where I'm not sure where some of these menus are, purely because I may have a different setting at the top with what I have. See here how we've got the trash, the insert, quick reference. Some of these I have with previous use set as I don't use it. So there's a project replace, search in project. Well, this must be the project menu up here, all of this stuff that we've got up the top. Can you see my cursor moving? I'm not 100% sure. Let's go back to where we were. So here we are with the project menu. Your character sheet from the project menu. Select new from template character sketch. Project menu. Is that one? New. Nope. So it's not that. View. Do you know, I'm going to have to look that one up because I think I've got mine is character sketch. It is, obviously that's a slightly different way of finding it compared to looking at it down here or at the template box there on those ones, maybe. Anyway, so creating the new character sketch document for you to edit and fill in with your character details. You can create setting. You can create setting. God, some of the wording on this, you can, to read it loud, you can create setting sketch sheets in the same way, which is this one, that's setting sketch. So you're looking at the different characters and all that sort of stuff in this season. Setting of part of the story, I think, in that respect. So I'm just going to put that back. Add, hit the Command N with the characters or placeholders selected. Well, it's the same thing, isn't it? Characters or placeholders, and that's what these are. Okay, you can hit those and add new. And it'll bring up that by default from the sound of it. So that's what we've just done there. So you can view your character and setting sketches in the inspector as follows. So as we've done before, I'm going to have to narrow this down a bit because the inspector pops up in size. So there's the inspector by hitting that particular icon. So select the bookmarks pane. 1. Select the bookmarks pane in the inspector. So you have to have that open. And here we've got the bookmarks pane. Oh, there it is. See that? The little bookmarks there. That's how you do that. So character and section. Document doc marks. That's not showing up as I would have thought. You can view character setting sketches in the inspector as follows. Let's do that. Select the bookmarks pane in the inspector. We're in the inspector. Whoop, I was. We're in the inspector. I'm just going to, I'll do it as far as there. There is the bookmarks, document bookmarks. What's this one? No. New bookmark. I do have a bit of learning to do with this myself. That's snapshots, that's metadata, and there's the notes. So here we have novel format, document bookmarks, project bookmarks. That's what we needed to have. So because we're looking for the document bookmarks, next step, I should have done that, shouldn't I? So click on the document bookmarks at the top and switch to project bookmarks. So let's take it one step at a time. It is actually quite easy when you follow instructions step by step, isn't it? So we click on the chevron. I didn't realise those were called chevrons. There you go. I just call them down arrows. So click on the chevron character next to the characters or places folders. So that's that one. That. And there it is. It comes up with each one of those. In the bookmark list, and choose the sheet you wish to view. Note that only folders with content show chevrons. There you go. And here we've got the places, but we've got nothing at notes. A notes folder, and it explains this. A notes folder has been provided for project level notes. This has been set as the default bookmarks folder in project settings. Project settings. Okay. So that when you create a new document from the bookmarks sidebar, which I'm not sure whether that's this one or whether that's this one. Oh, it's got the same way of looking at it as well. Oh, isn't that handy dandy? So if you don't have the inspector open, you can use this as looking for your characters and it goes to them. That's handy dandy, isn't it? Yeah. And now what we've got, it took us off that was the instructions. Well, that's interesting to know, isn't it? There you go. Now the compiling is something that you do at the end of the project, the whole project. I'm just going to drop the inspector for the moment and we'll go back to where I was there. Okay, I think you can still see all of the page here. And I'll just move it over a tiny little bit because as you notice, this window here that we can see with all of this, it's only a certain width. So I could probably still, with integrity for that size of text, still do that and you can see me quite well. See it all quite well. Actually, I might do that. Let me know what your preference is with that. Now, as we're compiling is the title pages and front matter all provided in the front matter folder, and that is the one between the places and notes folder. And as you can see, here we've got front matter. It's this one that you can see here that has manuscript format, paperback, ebook. Okay. So different front matter is used for different formats. That's why there is the 3 different drop downs, you know, the ability to have all of these available for whatever purpose. You know, you might just want the manuscript format so you can put it into a Vellum or an Atticus or some formatting tool. I think from Scrivener it does it very well and you don't have to do much fiddly diddly stuff once you're in the Atticus or the Vellum, and it does a very good job of formatting your book ready to put into Amazon, to put to Amazon publishing or that type of thing. Each one of these has its own area of course and bringing together what all of that material is. So that's front matter. We'll go back to here. So you can open this document in a quick reference panel and have it open alongside the compile panel if you need to refer to these instructions while compiling. Now all of this is for once you've actually got your manuscript completed and done. So as is nowhere near that, but we've got now the area that is making changes. So front matter is dealt with. Right, there are various minor changes you can make to tweak this template so that it better suits your needs as follows. Now, one of the things that I would like to mention as far as using Scrivener, I'm going into detail with this one because it's what I like to use. And to do that for me, I need to learn it in a bit more detail so that I can become more familiar with it to help others using it too, or for me to be able to bring into Scrivener your material as part of the services that I'm offering through the Boomer Press website. Okay, now I'm just going to share that as well. Oh, excuse me. I'm just going to check my Boomer Press community, and then I'm going to check my Boomer website. And let's go over there to Boomer Press Online. So this is the website, and just going to show it to you because it doesn't hurt to share and show, does it? Sharing the screen, I'm just going to pop over and change that to, where is it? Current application. Yes, there we go. So this is the website, and I do list some of the services that we have available. Now, because it's such a bespoke system of helping you, none of you are going to be at exactly the same place, same service needed and the rest. So it really does need for us to have a chat, have a conversation, complete the form. I've got those buttons there at the top, and here we've got what you need, the creating, planning and writing your book. You're taking those first steps, and I can help you with hand holding as personalised guidance and support through the process. Ghost writing, I don't personally do the ghost writing, but there are ghost writers available by various means that I can show you and help you to choose and all of that. Or just doing the manuscript development, help you flesh it out in whatever way is needed. And that might include some of the AI help as a tool. Not to write it, could if you wanted to, but I want it to be the AI is just going to be a helper tool to help structure or to give you some ideas or that type of thing. It's being used as a tool. I'm learning how to use it as a tool because it's something that I think is a movement into the future, not to create things that are all the same, but to help form ideas that are going to coalesce and clarify what I have already in my own mind, my own brain, okay? And once you have your manuscript, there certainly is a requirement. You do need to use editing services. Now, whether it's a run through with the AI tools that are now becoming very, very good at doing some editing, one of the most important, I think, with the AI, it can do the copy editing, line editing, proofreading and that type. The developmental editing, I think, is the most important. It's this one that needs to be outsourced to an experienced developmental editor. I don't do that, but I know the way of, employing someone that does do that. Of anything, that would be the biggest expense is a developmental editor because it's very dependent on the number of words that you're going to be needing to have run through as an edit. But I feel that's a very required step in any book process, is definitely the developmental. And if you prefer, you can do your line editing and get them paid by someone. I do proofreading and some of the line editing, whether it's through AI, but I prefer, still running through it with the personal eye, my eyes, that type of thing. And then it's the designing services where cover design can be done by it can be with the AI now, we've got certainly some very good designing apps that can do it, that are artificial intelligence. Whatever your ethics are around that, what you understand of it, I can help you alleviate fears around it. There's some excellent places and spaces that can be done, but there are still people who are offering that service. It is an expense, of course, and all of these are and will be, but they are available, and that's where Michelle steps in with her talents in the design services, okay? And I didn't realise I've got one of those AI pop-ups that's coming in. And then you go to the publishing. If you're wanting to publish publicly, you may just want to have a print-on-demand order put through a publishing house that does that. Amazon does. It doesn't have to be offered as a public production, public book. You can put it in as you publish it, but you get the author copies printed as a number that you'd like to order, and then you can take it off the public list. I think I've just got to revise how that one is done. I have done it myself, so here we go. There's the print-on-demand setup, that type of thing, because these ones are all capable of doing that. Okay, and then the marketing and other additional services you'll see there. It is all bespoke, so you will need to complete this form to ask the questions. I'll just pop that up, and does it shift over to that one as no, it's not. Oh yes, it is. So we're here, it's going into the form that you would be filling out, and it looks like this. Okay, so you'd have that's the form to fill out, or put your own question down in the bottom where the message is. Okay, so it's very simple to get in touch and have your processes looked at, where you're up to, and what you yourself would like to do with your memoir. And because I am concentrating on these sessions being about the memoir writing, and I'm still learning, because I've got a course that I'm doing from someone else who is an experienced memoirist. And, as we learn, so I want to teach. And it's just so much fun. I'm really enjoying the whole process, okay? I am. Until I get here and try to share it. Sometimes it's a little bit, oh gosh, what am I going to do? We're going to make changes, because this is where we're at in our Scrivener. It is the process that I'm going to be using, is making change. It is the Scrivener process of where the final words are. In a few of the next sessions, I'll be taking you through some of the other tools I use, but this is where it's going to end up. And we do make the changes in these particular places. Add from here, continue the story, which I will do. And the swimming lessons, and the Cressy the horse. Oh, lovely story, that one. She trod on my foot, and I've hated horses ever since. I loved her. She was a lovely horse. She was Mum's favourite, it's that type of thing. So here we are at the making changes. There are various minor changes you can make to tweak this template. So that's better. Oh, hang on. There are various minor changes you can make to tweak this template so that it better suits your needs as follows. Okie doke. So the project and author name, default book title and author name used in headers and elsewhere can be edited in the metadata pane of Compile. So click the tag icon in the right. I haven't got my inspector up again. Click the tag icon. That's the tag. Okay. Click the tag icon in the rightmost header bar of the Compile, which I did. Chapter subtitles. So I can change this. So I started doing this memoir test in this particular file on 8th of December 24. So I must have opened this particular template at that point in time and modified it then. So including compile, Section type, I mean, that's all of the metadata. So this is where you would set up your metadata and your keywords. Obviously, it needs a little bit more of the detail in there for the setup, because it doesn't say much there about it, just saying the author name. And right, we've got that. So the author name, where is that? Custom metadata. Oh, is this it? Can be added as columns to the outliner. Oh, don't know. Doesn't really give us a, there's, you got that. Formats, custom metadata. So this is in the section types, label. I'm just going through these because, oh, these are the, yep, we'll learn about those as we go along, I'm sure. Formatting, autocomplete list, special folders, templates, background images, no backdrop, back up. So you can use, I have got automatic backups set up, so there is a setup there. Custom appears, well, there you go. I'm not quite sure where that actually does. Supposed to be able to set up the project and author name in the metadata. Metadata pane of compile. Well, it's obviously there, but I don't know how. Gonna have to look that one up. Okay, so the chapter subtitles, by default, compile for this template is set up so that chapter numbers are added but not chapter titles. So if you want to include the title of the chapter folder in compile, this is to do with the compiling component. Okay, so what you do is assign section layouts at the bottom of the compile panel and the chapter heading. Yes, so I think this is something that I'll look at once I've got a working manuscript. So working with chapters instead of scenes. I think that's using a custom type. Yeah, look, that is all to do with the compiling. Okay, so we'll come here. I don't think I'll use the inspector again. The sample output folder inside the research folder. Let's just drop that one. There's the sample output folder. That's that one. Okay. It contains examples of documents that have been created by compiling from this template. Standard manuscript shows the results when compiling to manuscript, courier, and paperback novel shows the results when compiling to paperback, and that sizing. So there's a standard manuscript, and you will see it looking like this. So that's the front matter, and there we've got a standard formatting of this particular manuscript. Example, paperback. Here it is as the size that it will look like once it is in paperback form. So there we go. And there's your standard lorem ipsum dollar citamet. Don't know why Latin's used for this format of doing these samples, but the lorem ipsum dollar it's been there all the time, you know, from as long as I've actually been on computers. Anything that's a default, you know, sample stuff, it's got all this Latin. Very interesting. And there we've got the projects in part 2 and all the rest. Still got the lorem ipsum dollar sit. Don't say. It'd be interesting to learn what the hell all this is translated as. You should do it one day. Anyway, so that's that part of where we're at. And I think that is the final note, is that Scrivener project templates are flexible and are not intended to restrict you to a particular workflow. You can change, delete or move the files and folders contained in the template to suit how you work. Like all templates in Scrivener, this project was originally created from the blank template. We've simply added a few folders and set everything up in ways that should be useful to novel writers. Everything you can do with this project you could easily do by creating a blank project and setting it up for yourself. So you can create your own templates by setting up a skeletal project with the files, folders and settings you would like to use for new projects and using File Save as Template, which I might do at some point once I've really figured out the way that I like to set up my writing. So that's where it's at for that part of it. Now I'm just going to go, and I think what we can just do for the last minute or two is just go to open a new blank file. So I'm going back to here. It should pop up. And we'll go to File, New Project, and open a blank one. Here's the blank one. And I think that is needing to be created down there. I've lost the template. And I just say blank project until I rename it something else. And this is what the blank one is going to look like once it twirls its way into our existence. Right there. So there we have it. We've got the label of the manuscript is just a draft. Then we've got our first folder. The research has nothing in it. Trash has nothing in it. And this is where we just go up to adding what we want. And there we go. So how easy is that? And once you've started a few projects, here we've got our blank project, and here we pop over to our memoir test. So easy to switch between them, and there could be even more that I've started. I've got recent projects, I've got heaps of little ones there that you can see, some titles that I haven't, I'm not going to show any of those because they're all works in progress. Ideas for books that I haven't progressed much yet because I'm still learning, but I'm looking forward to doing those fictions. Well, how much is the process of doing the memoir is top of mind, first of all, but in that process of learning how to write fiction to start with, because then that will end up, you know, for me that process is going to bring forward the way of words and being more of a wordsmith for the memoir, and to be able to help you guys as we move through to, well, getting your own books done and written. It'll be wonderful to be able to keep moving it forward in a way that's meaningful and knowledgeable, and just being a friend holding your hand as well if that's all you need. Okay, so thank you for joining me. I'm going to leave it there. So this is until next week, and we'll be doing the next few steps and follow through with some of the writing itself. And I might even have a few little itty bits in between to show you as well, some of the tools that I'm using. Okay, so we'll see you then.